Right, it's the 3rd of August and we're privileged to have a little visitor staying with us from the 1930s.
Well, this is a 1930s Singer Junior. I've owned this car, which I call Dixie because it's DX8544, for about 11 years. I used to have bubble cars, and I sold a nice set of bubble car in 2000 and bought this car, and I'd always wanted vintage cars. And the Singer Junior is the smallest car, or was the smallest car in the Singer range at the time, and they had the smallest car was the Junior, the next size up was the Senior, and the biggest was the 6. And in 1926 introduced this car, which is, had a revolutionary overhead valve, overhead cam engine, 850cc, and they more or less kept the same engine and the same design going way into the 1950s. And every year they changed a little bit. And this was the first year that featured chrome plating, and they were just changing from magneto to coil ignition. And when this was new, this had coil ignition, but somebody retrofitted the 1929 magneto.
Oh. So
it's actually got a magneto fitted.
And it's done a journey, what, 65 miles today, coming down to visit us?
Yes, so it's come down from Bristol today, about 60 miles, to come to the 25th anniversary West Somerset Railway Rally at Norton Fitzwarren.
Yeah, no.
I used to drive the bubbles to Bishop's Lydiard when the rally was on there next to the station. So this is a saloon car, and the little battery's being charged up today because the brake light decided to stay on. Brake light switch failed.
All the fun of old vehicles.
And, it drained its battery instead of charging it on the way down. And I stopped at the windmill inn, and the battery wouldn't turn the engine over. But fortunately, for cars fitted with magneto ignition, you can use a starting handle, and you can start the car with a completely flat battery. You just generate the spark yourself with manpower.
Wonderful. Lots of period badgery you got on it now too.
Yeah, this is a genuine 1930 RAC badge here. And all the electrics would have been Rotax before Lucas took over, but it's virtually the same really. The previous owner, she had headlamps exactly the same as this, but she threw them away and fitted tractor spot lamps instead. Oops. So I had to find them at Auto Jumble and put them together from dented headlamps and find the right glass on them, which is very specific. But it's got the original 6-volt electrics, and it's got some rather nice features. The windscreen hinges open.
Oh yeah, lots of fresh air.
And it's got a sunroof.
Yeah.
Somebody said it's a Pytchley sunroof. It's the original sunroof. It doesn't leak, which is quite a nice thing to do. Sliding windows at the front, like this.
Yeah. Just like the nicest one.
Yeah.
Who thought of the idea first? Oh,
no,
yes.
rather like the
steam train coaches, yeah.
West Somerset Railway.
Yeah.
So carriages.
Very civilised idea, really, isn't it?
It's looking a bit all over the place because you can raise the seat to get at the battery. And
can we have a look at the dashboard a minute?
But there's the dashboard there.
Yes, yeah.
Quite rudimentary instrumentation, but everything is essentially. It wouldn't have had indicators first of all, so they're fitted into the side lamps. This horn button would originally have been fitted into the side of the door, so you could hit the horn with your elbow as you're driving along.
I've never heard of a horn operated by your elbow. Right.
So somebody's moved it there. The car was actually restored in 1972 when it was in a museum in Yorkshire. So it hardly did between 0 and 25 miles a year in those days, and it does more like about 800 miles a year now.
Pretty good. A worthy successor to your Bond and your Izetta and your Heinkel.
Yeah, I used to drive the bubbles to the West Somerset Railway rallies, and they used to call me Mr. Bubble.
Right. Okay, well thanks Alan.
Yeah.
What we're going to do now in the rest of the video is have a little walk around WATCHET and see a few steam trains and things.
We're raising the hook.
Yeah. Perhaps they're going to hook onto that ship we can see out in the Severn Sea.
Oh, they're raising the pipe. It's like
it's
a big pipe thing.
Yeah, it's the pipe they use for dredging out the silt, actually. Because one of the problems with this harbour is it does get silted up. In fact, I was watching a programme about Isabel Kingdom Brunel the other night on TV.
Oh yeah.
And he was faced with exactly the same problem. And he just arranged that a local river flowed into the harbour and out, so it washed all the silt out. Well, we've got a river just over there, so it wouldn't be terribly impossible just to, instead of letting it go out into the sea over there, jam it over under the roads here and into the marina and out, into the harbour.
Except you're the first person to ever think about it.
Apart from Mr. Brunel, and he's dead. They had threatened to demolish this long boat shed too, because it's too expensive to repair. There's quite a few holes in the roof, etc.
Make a nice garage though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it certainly would, yeah.
Singer or whatever.
Is
it not used at all then?
Oh yes, it's full of, we found lots of boats in there, people working on their boats, but it's not entirely waterproof, but it's probably better than being out in the open. One of the landmarks of WATCHET used to be a great old tall chimney in the distance there, to do with the paper mill, but that was demolished last year. Right.
Oh, take a picture then.
Yeah. I'm surprised how much these plants have grown up in the last few weeks. All this rain. In fact, I can hear the train in the distance. Do you hear it?
Yeah.
That's probably just pulling out of Doniford Halt.
I could try a bit of video this time. Last time I tried this, it wasn't so good, was it?
Mm-hmm.
I had to go at this doing something last time.
Video on a mobile phone.
Mobile phone.
Yeah, clever stuff. We'll probably be filming each other as the train goes by. Whoops. We should wonder what animal is lurking in all this undergrowth here. Plus you should call it overgrowth, not undergrowth. That sounds like it, yeah, there it is. Sound is carrying well today. You can hear it right up to the hills.
Sounds as if it's coming back again, doesn't it?
Yeah, you think so? Yeah, yeah.
Probably coming on the main street instead.
That'd be a surprise, wouldn't it? It's a lovely sound. Oh, that's not such a lovely sound.
This is a nice combination of Budley and teasels here. There's a beautiful combination of these growing together.
Yes, you're right.
Like a flower arrangement, you know, if you see it.
It is, isn't it? It's
Feature
like
behind it.
very nice. Little bits of red in there as well.
Yeah.
Fuchsia, are they?
Yeah, just like that.
Very colourful. We're just down on the west quay at WATCHET there. Tide is out, so it's not very pretty out that way. But that's the famous Pebbles Bar there. Within the distance, my friend has pointed out that crane we saw earlier has now got that pipe over the edge of the harbour, and there's a pump pumping out the silt, which is very, very efficient. I've never seen that done before. That must be very productive. There's the remains of the old railway track when that used to be connected up to the Brennan Hills to bring in iron ore, particularly into boats. It used to go from WATCHET to Newport for processing. Yes, this surfacing on this wall is very unusual, isn't it? I don't know exactly how that happened. Do you think that was the effect of the wind on the sandstone?
Wind in the spray.
Because some of it is almost plain here. It's been broken away. Yeah. It's all the way along to the lighthouse, really. I think we're coming up to the 150th year that this lighthouse has been here. Housing up here and there, in the middle of town. On the side of the Roxford River.
Bristol, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's a very nice modern housing here, like this one. There's an old flour mill that used to do a lot of work in WATCHET, but that's closed down. You've got holiday cottages going on in the background there. More building work going on behind those big tall walls. I guess they're going to have new houses there soon too. That big tall conical building at the top there with the red top, that's the back of the Methodist church, which is right opposite the railway station.
Oh yeah.
So that's the direction we're looking in now.
Talking to somebody there or something, isn't he? Leaning over and talking to somebody.
And there's the guy waving his flag, look.
Oh.